Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. We're glad to have you here. It's Friday, so everybody should be in a good mood today, shouldn't they? What do you mean, no? Well, you might want to pick up your coffee, maybe go get yourself a little bit of food. It's time for us to have some fun. We'll get you in a good mood by the end of the show, I promise you, because, Family Friday means that we get the lovely, smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wife, the lovely Stephanie Peterson.
Hello. My mom is here. I was like, oh, what is she going to say when you
my smoking hot, black-headed mother-in-law, Verna Cole, is here. Give her a round of applause.
Yeah, that's where I got my hotness from.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Mind your P's and Q's today, AP. You got to be careful, mother-in-law. She's keeping an eye on you today, but she's an in-law, but we love her very much. Glad to have you here. So yeah, definitely a big family Friday.
That's right. We're joining families, the Cole Peterson family today.
Exactly. Glad to have you all here with us today. Our friend, the Pork Chop Times. Never seen them before.
I've never seen them, no.
Says they want to go back to sleep. Me too. Gosh.
Aww.
I'm sleepy, ready to go back to sleep. After this, let's just go back home and go back to bed.
So I'm sure we'll take a nap today.
Yes, for sure. One of our friends, Robbie Thurman, already has a good joke this morning to start the day with. He says, what do you call a basement full of lefties?
Basement full of lefties.
Yes. A wine cellar.
Oh, because they're whining and they're probably drinking wine.
Very funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's funny.
A wine cellar. We've got a lot of great content for you today. It's going to be an awesome show. We've also got Gavin McInnes on the program today.
And
the godfather of the American right. Big guest. Yeah, we're going to play his interview. It was a pre-record. We recorded it yesterday, and we'll play that for you this morning at 7:30. I talked to him a little bit about that altercation that happened. So have you ever heard of this Patriot Front group, Stephanie? So these are guys who show up to events with masks on, and they're doing the Heil Hitler salute and all this stuff, and nobody knows who they are, but we kind of suspect that they may be feds.
They're feds.
So get this. So Gavin McInnes started this gang called the Proud Boys.
Okay, I've heard of that.
And the Proud Boys got into an altercation with the Patriot Front and chased these Nazi guys off, and unmasked several of them.
Oh my gosh.
So I got to ask Gavin. Gavin was the founder of the Proud Boys. Long story short, after Gavin got arrested, the feds were they forced him to divorce himself from the Proud Boys.
Yeah, oh dear, I didn't know about all this stuff. Is this the Boogaloo group?
No.
The same
thing?
The
Boogaloo are the people who are going to use who I should not say it on camera, because if I ever get arrested, I don't want to be.
Okay, I just know the Boogaloo boys walk around with Hawaiian shirts and guns, right?
The Boog Boys, yes.
But the Proud Boys don't do that.
No, the Proud Boys are different gang.
Okay,
different gangs.
Gosh, there's just too many gangs.
The Proud Boys got in a fight with the Patriot Front Boys, and they unmasked the Patriot Front Boys.
Boy.
I asked Gavin about it because he was the founder of the Proud Boys.
Yeah, he should know these things.
He does know these things.
Yeah.
I also asked him about marriage and having kids.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
some other nice things.
He's a family man.
Yes. Yeah. So Gavin's interview is at 7:30. We'll play that for you here in a little bit. Big news is, and this is what we're going to start it off with, the show is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. really disappointed a lot of people yesterday with his stance on guns.
Stance on guns. Okay, I thought you were going to say affirmative action.
Well, actually, he also disappointed a lot of people who were following him because of his stance on affirmative action. So it was sad. A lot of libertarians were upset with him.
Just a disappointment in general.
I never fell for his crap. I don't think I'm stupid. Your man is always smarter than that.
My heart went out to him the other day because we watched that, I think it was a town hall or something, and he was talking about his neurological disorder and why his voice is how it is, and I was starting to feel bad for him.
Oh, well, I feel bad for him too, but he's also kind of stupid. I mean, anybody who's a Democrat these days who, gives in to the grooming of our children and who thinks that the answer to the problems is less freedom and to take away our ability to defend ourselves, right? They're pro-crime policies, pro-illegal immigration policies. Anybody who is that stupid these days, at some point in time, gets exactly what they deserve.
Maybe his neurological disorder is impacting that.
I'm pretty well,
I'm just trying to be nice to him. I don't know.
There's definitely a neurological disorder going on there.
Yeah.
Anyways. So we're gonna tramp all over Robert F. Kennedy Jr. this morning. We'll get to that in just a second. But then we've also got a couple more topics that we're gonna get to in the 8 o'clock hour. One is, and this is when we start to like have a little bit more fun. I know you're excited for this topic. Things you should buy.
Yeah, my mom was starting to talk about things that she wants to buy
Things
to
that
be
you
happy.
should buy in order to increase your quality of life.
Yeah.
Well, I find that ironic because I just seem to remember you and your mother having this conversation about don't buy stuff.
Well, yeah, too
Right?
much
Too
stuff
much
can make you
stuff.
unhappy.
Too much stuff.
You need a
Because you leave
balance.
too much stuff behind and it's just too much stuff.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you got to have stuff that if you buy that stuff, does it actually increase your quality of life?
Well, it has to increase your quality of life and the quality of life of other people, I think.
Right. That's a big
It has to
question.
increase everybody's quality
So
of
we're
life.
going to go through a list of things
Yeah.
that could increase your quality of life,
Mhm.
and that's going to be at 8 a.m.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then since you're a licensed therapist,
Oh boy.
and I saw this story yesterday, I was like, I want to hear what my licensed therapist wife has to say about this. But is therapy actually bad for you? Is it bad for you?
That's a really good question. It'll be an interesting conversation. I'm not really sure where we're going to go with that
this
one.
is why the show is good because it's not all. There's conflict here. There's tension.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch a show where everybody agrees with each other and there's no conflict. That's not fun. So I'm about to tell my wife why therapy might be bad for you.
Right. And the thing about me is that I'm not like so gung ho therapy that I think everyone needs to do it. So you might be surprised how unbiased I am on the subject.
Well, and that's why
Yeah.
if I thought that you were too sensitive to have that
Right. If I'm like,
conversation,
oh no,
I would never bring that up to you, right?
Yes.
Right. But I know that you have an open mind and you're willing to consider things, and so that's why I decided that we'll talk about that. So there's going to be a lot of conflict. There's going to be a lot of love. There's going to be a lot of emotion today.
Hopefully, no tears.
No, well, actually, if we wanted some good drama, there should be some tears, right, Scott? We should have a little bit of tears on the show. Like if there's tears, people love tears.
Scott Fawn just walked in the building. We've got all sorts of celebrities in here today. Verna Cole, Scott Fawn, Austin Peterson.
The Wake Up America show is a full cast today, full ensemble cast. Right. It's going to be a great program today. Let's start with the big news. Affirmative action for college admissions has been overturned. One of the racist legacies of the United States is finally ended. Systemic racism that I know Democrats are definitely against. They will always are wanting to stop systemic racism. Let's give it a round of applause. We are taking one step forward against systemic racism in this country.
Really, affirmative action in and of itself is racist.
Exactly.
Towards certain people.
The idea behind affirmative action is that two racisms cancel each other out. So two racisms equals no racism. But we all know that the truth is two racism is just two racism, right?
Right.
And
I remember I learned in college that minorities cannot be racist. That's what I learned in my program.
Minorities cannot be racist? Did you really? Wait a minute.
I did.
Explain that.
Yeah.
Explain that.
If you're a majority, then you can, if you're cutting down other people who are in the minority, then you're racist. But in a minority, if you are a minority, you can't be racist to other people because you're not the majority.
Right.
Yes.
So if black people became the majority in this country, then they could be racist.
No. No, race.
Where's that?
Right. You can't be in the majority and be racist. That's a no-no.
No. But if they were to become the majority of people in this country, then it would be possible for them to be racist?
Yes. Yes.
If if they could understand sense, they wouldn't be Democrats, that's just the thing. So anyway, so
a lot of things in my social work program. I also learned that the rich are supposed to give to the poor. That was part of my ethical guidelines. So it was very interesting.
And well, what you yes, you should. You should voluntarily, if you have a lot of money, you should be charitable with your money. And you should, I think it's a good idea to give to the poor voluntarily, right? But that's not really what the Democrats believe. They believe that they should take from the rich.
Correct, yes.
By force. And
through governmental programs.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which causes people to say, hey, if you're taking taxes from me already, what incentive do I have to be charitable? Because you're already taking from me.
Yeah, whenever I go to the grocery store and they're like, do you want to round up to the nearest dollar to help this foundation? I always say no.
Absolutely not.
I always say no because I'm like, I'm already kind of giving to people without wanting to.
The government is already taking it. They're already redistributing our wealth, and that's the official policy. Now, if I wasn't being taxed half of my income, sometimes more than half of my income, then I might be a little bit more charitable. But in that situation, no. Absolutely not. Anyways, let's talk about affirmative action.
Yes.
Affirmative action in college admissions overturned by a conservative majority on the Supreme Court. The reaction, of course, from the left has been predictable, the angst and the anxiety. One of the more interesting statistics on this one, and I didn't have time to pull the official one, but I will. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to have to trust ChatGPT on this one for just a moment here to pull the statistics of what it benefits. But I read an article yesterday, and I would appreciate it if those who are watching, who are tuned in right now, if you could find an official source. I'm just going to use artificial intelligence right now very briefly. But the article that I read yesterday was that the majority of people who are benefited from affirmative action are not minorities.
I just actually found that article.
Yes.
I was reading it. Yes. The people who benefit most from affirmative action are white women. Yes.
Oh, really?
I did read that in an article because one thing about affirmative action is it's not just about race. It's also about getting more women into colleges. So women are included in affirmative action, which I thought it was a racial thing, but women are not a race.
It's not. Affirmative action has really never been about race. It's always been about discrimination.
Yes.
Against one race and one gender. It's about lifting up other races and genders and discriminating against one race and one gender.
About lifting up the minorities.
It's about lifting up minorities. And it's about which is funny because white liberal women aren't minorities, right? They're still in the majority. They're just women.
Well, are there more females?
Well, if you're white, then you're in the majority.
Yes, okay? Yes.
But you're Jewish.
Right.
Are you white?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nazis would disagree with you.
I don't know if affirmative action includes Jewish people too.
I'm pretty sure it does.
I guess I would have to understand, what does affirmative action include? What people are under this umbrella?
Everybody is included except white men.
Okay.
Right? It is the official policy up until yesterday, at least for college admissions, and still is to a large extent, official policy of the United States government that it is legal to discriminate against only one group in this country, and that is white males under the age of 40. Now, I'm 42. Which means that I have become a protected class.
Yes, because you're protected being an older person, and also it protects disabled people. It protects veterans as well.
Yeah, so the idea is that a protected class is anyone who is not a white male under the age of 40.
Okay.
Now I'm 42 years old, which now I have legal protections extended to me by the government, and the protection that's extended to me is against ageism. So now if I were to have a job and an employer were to discriminate against me because of my age and I can prove it, I can sue them in federal court.
Yes.
Because of ageism and age discrimination.
That's right.
2 years ago, I would not, or 2.5 years ago, I would have not had that legal protection extended to me. Right now, what we're talking about here specifically is college admissions.
Right, college only, not work. And now they say that we think we're going to be moving on to the work laws, but not yet.
Yes, I'm really excited about this because I think that this is going to be the death of many of the diversity, equity, and inclusion standards that are required, and I think they'll probably move on to DEI standards in academia first, because we're talking about institutions that get money from the federal government.
Yes,
and that was why the Supreme Court was able to make this decision rather than a sweeping one, because they could state that, well, if you are taking the king's coin, then you have to sing the king's song, meaning that if we as taxpayers are funding these institutions,
excuse me,
bless you. If we as taxpayers are funding these institutions, then then those institutions cannot discriminate on the basis of race or gender.
Right. That makes sense. If the government is paying for something, they have strings attached.
And the government is really just us, right? When we say the government, we should really say the taxpayer. Because the government doesn't have any money. The government doesn't have any resources.
Right.
It's our money, our resources.
But it's like we don't exactly choose all of these different laws that are enacted.
No, we don't, but we elect representatives
that choose them for us.
To do those. Yes. Right. So the idea is that diversity, equity, inclusion standards are another form of official discrimination.
Okay.
And it operates not only in academia, but it also operates in the corporate world as well.
Yes.
And so whether the Supreme Court will choose to move into the private sphere is going to be the question, right?
And the private sphere. So, like, could they say that private colleges cannot do affirmative action?
They did not do that.
They can't do that.
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm not saying that they can't do that, and I'm not saying that they won't do that, and I'm not saying that they should do that, but they could do it.
Really?
Yes.
That's legal?
Well, they'll make it legal, right? So that's the point. Whether or not it's the right thing to do or not, the government doesn't care what's legal. It
They
makes
can force you to bake the cake.
it can force you to bake the cake. That's correct. So the question there is when you get back to the question of civil rights, right? Are we talking about the Civil Rights Act here? And I think that there's a lot to go into. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole and get into bake the cake. I'd like to focus very briefly here on what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said, because I think that he had been getting a lot of attention from libertarians in recent weeks for some of his stances when it came to COVID tyranny and how the government reacted during COVID, which I absolutely agree with. They should have never shut our businesses down. They should have never forced us to get vaccines. They should have never forced us to close our businesses, mandatory vaccines, and shut down our schools. It was absolutely tyrannical and unnecessary in my mind. Mask mandates as well.
Yeah.
And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was with us on those issues.
Okay.
And
so he liked freedom.
So we give it on those issues.
Okay.
But he doesn't like freedom so much in some other issues. And
Okay.
I'm gonna
picks and chooses his freedom.
as many people do, right?
Yes.
But here's what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had to say in response. Now, for those of you who may not know, most of you do, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the son of Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy was a Democratic presidential candidate, former Attorney General of the United States under his brother John F. Kennedy in the 1960s. Robert F. Kennedy, former Attorney General, was assassinated by Sirhan Sirhan in a Los Angeles hotel while he was running for president of the United States.
Wow.
But he had time to have a son, who is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
My gosh.
who is running for president of the United States right now as a Democratic presidential candidate.
How tragic. Jeez.
Their family is marred by tragedy. It's the Kennedy curse, they call it. But a lot of their problems are of their own making. Robert and the big turd that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stepped in, two turds. One of them was this, when he said that regarding the Supreme Court banning affirmative action in higher ed, I know many Americans feel that purely race-based decisions are unfair. Me.
Okay.
However, this feeling misses important context. The effects of racist policies, and you were saying this earlier, the effects of racist policies going back centuries now are self-perpetuating.
Yeah.
He says affirmative action understands this and uses race-based policies to undo the effects of racist policies.
Right. Okay.
So two racisms make a no racism.
Right. They were trying to solve the problem that we created in government a long time ago. I was actually reading certain laws that we had enacted where Black people were not allowed to read back in the 1800s. Integration in schools was not until the 1950s. So, I mean, Blacks really have been held back in a lot of ways because of our laws that we made.
When you say our laws that we made, who are you talking about?
America.
Okay.
We the people.
Okay. Do you have a mouse in your pocket? Because you keep saying we, but I didn't make those laws.
But you just said that we are the government. So I'm going off on what you said. Yes.
We are the taxpayers, right? But the laws that were created by a government 50, 75, 150, 275 years ago, you and I had no part in.
And no, we didn't.
No, you and I didn't.
But our family members who were we the people.
But are you guilty for any crimes that your mother commits?
No, right? I'm not.
No, you're not, right? So then why are you paying the cost and the burden of a crime that your great-great-grandfather may have committed?
Right.
And what was fascinating, too, this is just an aside, and I mentioned this the other day and told you about it this morning, that PBS did a study on the genealogical research of all of our public leaders here in this country in order to determine which of our public leaders, presidents, current living presidents, current senators and judges, which of them had ancestral ties to slavery. And what they found was totally fascinating. Found that Jimmy Carter's family had 52 slaves. Bill Clinton's family had 1 slave. George Bush's family had 3 slaves. Do you know how many slaves Donald Trump's family had? I
had guessed when we were debating about this. I guessed his family had hundreds of slaves.
Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah, you did. And guess how many slaves Donald Trump's family had? 0 slaves. 0.
Yeah, that's really shocking to me.
So if any of the current living presidents right now bear absolutely no responsibility for slavery in any way, shape, or form. It's the one president that the left wants desperately to have had slaves, and he had none. Donald Trump Jr. I guess we'll give it up for Donald Trump if we're talking about, So then, how's this? If your ancestors had no ties to slavery, should the government give you a bit of a bonus and a benefit as well?
Well, we had ties to segregation.
You had ties to segregation, but what if you didn't have any ties to segregation? What if your family moved or family of immigrants in the 1970s? Should you be
That's a good question.
Should you be exempt from you be exempt from reparations?
Yeah. I mean, what if you are an immigrant from Ukraine or something, let's say? Should you have to deal with all of this because it really wasn't your problem? You never signed up for all of that.
I want to move on to another topic that's got people talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I'm going to play a little clip from an interview that he did the other night in a town hall where he was asked about his stance on an assault weapons ban. This is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. answering the question because he is running as a Democrat. And of course, the majority of Democrats want an assault weapons ban.
Yes.
So let's hear what Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's been really trying to get a lot of libertarians to support him. He showed up at Pork Fest the other day. He's going to Freedom Fest.
Wow, he went to Pork Fest?
He went to Pork Fest, gave a speech the other day. He asked for his speech to be a gun-free zone.
Oh my gosh, that is not a Pork Fest thing to do.
No. Pork Fest is where, I mean, they'll have like level 4 grade methamphetamines. Like there was probably fentanyl at Pork Fest and fully automatic machine guns. So there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's guns. But it's the most peaceful place in America because nobody would dare start shit.
All libertarians want to be in New Hampshire.
Of course, it's awesome. I've been there. It's great. Anyways,
all right. So he was there.
I didn't do meth or fentanyl.
All right.
Anyways, let's play a Robert F. Kennedy's clip here. Take a listen.
Sure. I want to ask you about the fact that you're running for the Democratic nomination and 77% of Democrats support an assault weapons ban. Do you not support an assault weapons ban?
If we can get a consensus on it, if Republicans and Democrats agreed to it and it passed Congress, sure.
I want to ask you about the fact that you're running for the Democratic nomination.
There, that's weird. Anyways, so sure. Yes, if we can get a consensus on it, Republicans and Democrats agree on it, yes, he would sign an assault weapons ban. First of all, Stephanie, can you define an assault weapon?
I really can. I'm still confused on that. You're going to have to help me. I have no idea.
All right, so I won't get into the weeds too much, but there is no such thing as an assault weapon unless you consider everything is a potential weapon.
You can assault people with anything.
This is an assault thermos.
Yes.
Okay, if I hit you with it, it's an assault thermos.
Yeah.
This is an assault Trumpy Buddha. If I throw this at you right now and hit you in the head, this is an assault weapon.
Right, based on the definition of assault. Yes.
Right. I wish that the Democrats weren't so dumb because then they might at least say assault rifle. And if
would that be an AR? AR-15?
No, it would not be an AR-15 actually, and because again, now we're getting a little bit into the weeds, but please follow along with me. I'm not condescending to you. I'm condescending to those who want an assault weapons ban. An assault rifle is not an AR-15. So if you say you want an assault rifle ban, well, what you're essentially saying there is that fully automatic machine guns, which are still legal in the United States, provided you go through a tax stamp, those would then be banned. Okay. But an AR-15...
So machine guns are assault rifles.
An M16. So you know those little keychains that we sell at apforlibertyshop.com?
Yeah.
Right. That is a fully automatic. That is an M16. Okay. The military uses that.
Okay. And that means if you push the trigger, the bullets just keep going.
That's an assault rifle. Right. Okay. So if the Democrats said, I want an assault rifle ban, you still wouldn't be banning AR-15s because an AR-15...
It's not automatic.
That's correct, Stephanie.
Yeah, you don't go do. You have to keep going.
You have to keep pulling the trigger. It's a semi-automatic.
Yes.
Now, when Democrats say assault weapons, they mean AR-15. I wish they'd just say AR-15 because then you could give them the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, okay, well, at least they know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, I think they think AR stands for assault rifle. I've heard that many times. So they're like, AR means assault rifle. AR-15 will be banned.
Why must we be ruled by our inferiors, Stephanie? You know, the price of politics, the price of not getting involved in politics is to be ruled by your inferiors.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. If so, I wish the Democrats would say AR-15s. Just say, at least use the correct terminology. But you can't give them the benefit of the doubt because they say things like assault weapon, which is not a thing.
Right. I think they're just confusing the terms.
They confuse the terminology. Yeah. That's correct. Right.
Which I do too. I mean, I forget what AR really
Stephanie,
stands for.
You know, you've probably forgotten more about guns than most Democrats will ever know.
Yes.
Okay. You know, so give yourself
like what kind of bullet goes in what gun. Yes. I definitely messed that up when you proposed to me with a ammo box, and you're like, oh, what kind of gun does this ammo go into? And I totally messed up that answer.
You blanked it.
Yes.
You blanked it. But thankfully you didn't have to worry about it, because when you opened up the ammo box, what was inside?
This.
What?
My ring. Yes.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. We've got a big audience today. It's nice to see you.
Do we? They're all here for my mom.
Yes, they're all here for
Verna fan club. Here, yes. My mom actually does have a fan club on Facebook. I can share the link later.
We've got 50 people on YouTube, 40 people on Rumble, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 people watching us live. And then on Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku, I know we've got it probably 100 people or something like that. I don't count them, but I'm going to go ahead and round up and say we got about 100 people watching us live.
I'm getting some stage fright here. Don't tell me. Just tell me like 0 people are watching.
All right. We've got nobody watching us here. The Wake Up America show is brought to you by listeners and viewers like you, and of course by our sponsors like Lear Capital, who I want to talk to you about for just a very brief moment. Our friends over at Lear Capital have got a great deal going on right now, where you buy an ounce of buy an ounce of gold, you get an ounce of silver.
That's right.
So it's a buy one, get one. And gold right now is one of the best prices it's been in years. So if you want to lock in your savings and that deal to get a free ounce of silver along with an ounce of gold, call them today, 1-800-885-2175. Write this number down. You're listening to the Wake Up America show. I know I got a nice big audience out there. Let's buy some gold today.
That's right.
Over the weekend, it's payday. Get yourself a couple of gold bars. Why not? Stack it up.
You can even sell any metals that you have if you want to get rid of some.
Or you could be like Scrooge McDuck, and you can put it in a big vault and go swimming in it, because that's the thing. Call them at
Did you do that?
Yes, he did. Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, remember DuckTales? Did you ever watch that show?
A little young. Yeah.
His children. I guess I'm robbing the cable. 1-800.
Yeah, you are.
885-2175 is the phone number. If you just want to get more information today, sign up for a free informational packet at learaustin.com. That's LEARAUSTIN.com. Lear Capital helps bring you the Wake Up America show 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. So if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button. Visit LEARAUSTIN.com. Help us today to spread the message of economic freedom and personal liberty by securing your economic freedom and personal liberty by buying gold. You got to buy the gold. Visit LearAustin.com or call that number that you see on the screen, 1-800-885-2175. That's 1-800-885-2175.
You know what's funny? I do remember I bought my mom some silver years ago. I convinced her as to why she should have some, and she totally got it, and she owns some silver. She is a proud owner. Yes.
Nice. Well, we're big believers in precious metals here with Peterson and Cole family, so check it out. DuckTales. Ooh. All right, so here's the good news and the bad news. Are you ready for the good news?
Yes, we like good news.
The good news is Gavin McInnes is on the show today.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Here's the bad news.
Okay.
The bad news is that there was some kind of technical problem with Gavin's microphone in his studio. So his interview looks great, but there's a big problem. And if you're excited to hear from Gavin McInnes, I have to apologize because I don't know what the problem was. My audio was fine. Gavin's audio was kind of dog
too bad.
Yes. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to play the Gavin McInnes interview for you. It's about 30 minutes long, right?
Okay.
And I know you're excited. It was a great interview. Had a really nice, wide-ranging conversation. If the audio for you from Gavin, which is really scratchy, really poppy, I'm just trying to warn you for this. If it's too much and you're listening to it, and it's like, oh, it's getting like coming out of your speakers, it's blowing your speakers up or something like that. I went ahead and I subtitled it for you.
Okay.
So I put captions on for Gavin. So what I'm going to recommend to you right now is if you want to like see the Gavin McInnes interview between the two of us, mute your speakers. Okay. So you'll hear me. I sound fine. My audio is just fine, but it's mostly Gavin doing the majority of the talking. and it's going to be cracks and pops, and he sounds like he's mirrored and it's echoey. It's just terrible. I can't fix his audio.
Yeah.
So whatever it is what it
Yay
is.
for technology.
I tried to fix it the best I could, but eventually I just gave up yesterday and I said, all right, I'm just going to have to subtitle this. So
yeah.
apologize for that. I don't think it was my fault, but anyways, I don't want to point fingers. It is what it is. Great interview though. Good conversation and good topics. You just might have to mute it and then read the captions under the screen. Sorry about that. We'll be right back in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Stephanie and I on Family Friday on the Wake Up America show. At Wake Up America show. Enjoy the interview with Gavin McInnes as much as you can. All right. Again, be prepared to press mute. All right. We'll be back with more on the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. Welcome back to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. Super excited to introduce to you my next guest. As you know, it's Family Friday, and my next guest might not be the Peterson family per se. We could say, though, that he is the godfather of the modern American right. So we'll give him a pass for appearing on Family Friday. Not only was he a co-founder of the late Vice magazine, but he's also the author of The Death of Cool. Great book. Highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet. And his regular appearances with Anthony Cumia are probably the only media that I actually listen to or consume, because I don't want to be an idiot. So I don't watch the Mind Mush stuff, but I watch Gavin McInnes pretty much every day. If you're a dirty Fed, you'll hate our next guest. But if you're a freedom-loving libertarian like me, you're going to love him. Gavin McInnes, he's joining us now. Hey, Gavin, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us on the Wake Up America show.
Thanks for having me, Austin. Long time no see.
Yeah, glad to have you here, Gavin. Love your content. Enjoy the stuff with you and Anthony. Makes me laugh every day. Highly recommend it for those who aren't tuned into your stuff. I'll also give you a chance to give any plugs that you like here at the end of the segment. But the reason why I wanted to reach out to you is because I saw some of our old buddies, the Proud Boys, got into this altercation with the Patriot Front guys the other day, and they got into this fight and they were unmasking them and stuff. And I just kind of wondered what you thought about that, right? So first of all, do you think that those Patriot Front guys are feds? And two, do you kind of think that that was the right thing to do, to unmask them? What's your thoughts on that whole situation?
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it's a great example of how pathetic the FBI have become. Remember when we were kids playing cops and robbers? The FBI to us was this monolithic version of a cop at the top of a mountain. And now I see them as complete losers, inefficient blobs. And they want to infiltrate the right because the deep state has to push this narrative of white supremacy. Why do they do that? Because if they say the borders are a problem and Mexico's a problem, or they say black crime is a problem, they have to do something. If they say white supremacy is a problem, then they can throw patriots in jail. They can make sure there's no militias. They take care of their own threats without hurting their own narrative. So they have to push this white supremacy. The problem is, straight white males, especially conservatives, are the least racist people in America. They're the least racist people in the world. Their judgment system is based on meritocracy. So if you're a talented black woman and you want to fly a plane, come on in. But it's the opposite of the market left. So they start this group called Patriot, and they have them infiltrate MAGA events, Proud Boy events, and Sieg Heil and have Nazi flags in order to make us look bad, to help this white supremacy narrative. Now, the beauty of our adversaries these days is they're wimps, they're losers. Like Drag Queen Story Hour, you don't have to burn the library down. You don't have to show up there armed. You just go, this isn't happening. And they see there's more than 3 people and they shut it down immediately. So we're up against a bully whose bones are made of peanut brittle. You just have to go, boop, bonk, and he's gone. So what these guys did is they did some very minor, like if it was a motorcycle, they just pulled the choke out a little bit. They were not knocking anyone out. They were not committing any felonies. And more importantly, they unmasked them. That's when we find out that one of them was a guy, a Fed who had infiltrated the Proud Boys previously. We find out that one of them was part of this Jewish fraternity, who says he can't wait to work for the government when he works out, when he gets out. You know, it was so obvious they were Fed. They're all the exact same body type, that sort of rookie cop body type. they all like, if you look at Proud Boys, there's fat ones, skinny ones, tall ones, Asians, black. That's what a normal coalition of like-minded people look like. But they don't look like recruits from the police academy. And that's what these guys look like. We've unmasked them, we've exposed them now. And Patriot Front is over. I mean, they're clamoring now that the far right feds are like, no, they're you cucks. They're trying to save America. They're just more extreme than you. And other people are saying, no, you got the wrong guy. That's a Proud Boy. That guy just looks like the guy. And they're clamoring for excuses, but they've been exposed. And sorry to answer this for so long, but
yeah, it's good. That's why you're here.
The takeaway here is it doesn't take that much. Like 1776 was a pain in the ass. We went up against the world's largest superpower and had nothing but a couple Indian friends in a tree. That was brutal. This isn't that. We don't need to hide in trees with black powder guns to win this revolution. All you need to do is push back just that much. Take off a mask. Say a drag queen story hour isn't happening. Go down to the borders with a camera and show America that it's Egyptians coming through, Pakistanis, guys from Bangladesh. That's all you have to do.
And Chinese, which is a lot of these guys. Yeah, Chinese people coming across the southern Mexican border. Yeah, it's ridiculous. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, today's your lucky day. It's Family Friday, and normally I'm talking to my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wife. We'll get back to her in just a moment. I know you guys like that eye candy, but you're going to have to look at these two old white guys. Gavin McInnes is joining us. He is the author of The Death of Cool, and he's been a big inspiration to me over the years. I consume his content every day. So I'm delighted to have the opportunity to have him here. So click that like button and subscribe so you can get more great content like mine every day in your feed. We're talking about the altercation between Patriot Front guys and Proud Boys. I thought it was interesting that you heard the Proud Boys, and I'm not a member of the Proud Boys. I would never join a club that would have me as a member, Gavin. I'm that type of guy. But I got a lot of buddies who are. And I always had a good opinion of them because they were not as the media portrayed them, these racist assholes who were, just trying to be street gangs for white supremacy. When I saw Proud Boys operating, it was usually in defense of either MAGA groups or like Tea Party groups or things like that back in the day. So I thought it was interesting that these guys were calling out the Patriot Front for being racist. What did you think of that?
Well, it shouldn't surprise anyone who's familiar with the club. We when you have a right-wing club, you're constantly weeding out Nazis, getting rid of them. The English Defense League with Tommy Robinson had that problem. And part of it is the media's fault. Like, they call it a white nationalist group, so then white nationalists go, okay, I got to join. And then they go, what are all these black dudes doing here? They go, yeah, you've got bad advertising. You've been misinformed. And so you weed them out. And I think the Proud Boys up in Portland, they're very familiar with these tricks. And they go, we're not falling for it this time. You're not going to stand next to me with a brand new Nazi flag that still has its creases in it and Zeke Heil standing next to me. So they weeded them out instantaneously. And everyone, the left is so surprised. They're so effing stupid. And they're so locked. They get this myopic hypothesis that there's Proud Boys are racist. Trump people too. They have this idiotic view. And then the more they are confronted with evidence that contradicts their belief, the more steadfast they become in that belief. So they go, they're racist. Really, the previous chairman was Afro-Cuban. Huh. So does that disavow them of their notion? No.
No. It's the Hispanic face of white supremacy. That's the new narrative, right?
They call it multiracial white supremacy. And you're like, wait, what? I honestly don't think they actually believe it. Because if they did, if this really was a thing, there's your story. Like, go talk to a black Proud Boy who wants blacks to go back to Africa and thinks whites are superior to him. Like, that, I want that. That should be the cover of New York Magazine. I mean, and there's a bunch of them. So go talk to all of them and find out about these black people who hate black people and think white people are better than them. They don't go talk to those. I've hooked them up with those people, and they don't talk to them because they know it will blow the whole thing. So they're just activists. I mean, they're activists. They're worse than activists, because at least activists, they tend to be naive and believe in garbage like climate change. These are activists who don't even believe in their own cause.
I love the Jesse Lee Peterson clips where he goes out and talks to his fellow black people, and he says things like, I think white people are better than black people. funny. That is the funny shit. Also, some media that I highly recommend just for the comedy value. Thanks for tuning in to the Wake Up America show. I'm speaking to Gavin McInnes, the man, the myth, the legend on the Wake Up America show. Make sure you click like and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this content. I want to segue to another topic here, the discussion centered around woke politics and the phrase "go woke, go broke." I watched your discussion about Vice magazine, rest in peace, and you said, this wasn't a situation here where it was go woke, go broke. And I thought you explained that really well. It's a great video you can watch. We'll search it up on YouTube after you're done watching this. But in regards to Bud Light, I think pretty clearly it's go woke, go broke. I think Target, another example, right, where they made these terrible decisions about having transgender clothing marketed towards kids in their schools and all this satanic stuff, whatever. So I guess my question for you here is, Gavin, is go woke, go broke a thing? I mean, maybe it wasn't for Vice magazine, but I think it clearly was for Bud Light. I know you're a Bud heavy drinker, right? And you don't want to have somebody offer you a Bud Light these days because of what it means. I had to refuse one. I was on the river the other day and some redneck tried to give me a Bud Light. And I thought he was like, and not making a pass at me, but it was like he was trying to say something about me or something like that. So I had to turn it down. Right. Also, just like, because, I'm an ally, right? I don't want to be like a part of the problem. So is go woke, go broke a real thing? Or you think that it's like, we're going to memory hold this, and after we win this fight, people are just going to forget and move on? What are your thoughts?
Well, Vice is a very unique case. I mean, I was out in 08. They did go pretty woke as far as the editorial of the magazine, but and I don't think the magazine got more profitable with that. It was like bone cancer. It became a slow death. But they focused on the CNN stuff, and they were politically correct enough to get mainstream acceptance while maintaining the sort of edge brand that I produced. So that kept them afloat for a long time. But I think Shane is an incredible salesman. And I think he got scared of the Me Too movement. Who knows what skeletons he's got in his closet. And so he stepped away from the front lines. And so now they don't have a sales guy. We called him Bullshitter Shane when we were kids. They don't have him anymore. And then he put a woman up in front because she's a woman. She worked at A&E. She didn't have the proper experience to run a media brand like that. And she's not good at bullshitting with the old time, the way a good old boy like Shane is. And that's when they really started plummeting. And you see this with Tower Records too. Tower Records used to only hire people who used to stock shelves. Like the CEO will have built shelves at Tower Records. And the formula got them through CDs, it got them through MP3s. They survived everything from that. Then they started hiring these executives because you're supposed to, hiring women because it looks good for the brand, because it'll make someone like BlackRock. And they tanked immediately after. But as far as the other companies go, yeah, we're really open-minded. Like you said, with the first segment, it was all about how we are racist, and they have to prove that we are racist. They also are under the misunderstanding that we're homophobic. We were dancing with YMCA in the 70s. Liberace, Paul Lynn was on TV every day. Rip, what's that guy would throw the confetti with the big mustache? Like Rip Taylor. We had gay icons all over the place. It's when it came after the kids that we got. Dylan Mulvaney doesn't pretend to be a woman. He pretends to be a girl. He literally dresses up as Eloise from that children's book, The Girl Who Lives in the Hotel. She's like 11. So he's at day 380 now of being a girl. That we don't like, believe it or not. You start talking about hormone blockers for kids, you're cutting off some 13-year-old lesbian's breasts because she has to be a man. There's no more lesbian bars, by the way. Lesbian bars in America, they're gone. I think there's like 10 left in the entire country because you've eradicated lesbians. So their agenda is actually more homophobic than ours. We were like, go do your own thing, but don't get kids involved and keep it out of my face. They're like, no, gays don't exist. They're Saudi Arabian when it comes to gays. That lesbian's a man, and that gay guy is a woman. And that's annoying and it's weird, and I don't want my adult brother to do it, but it's his prerogative. But they came with Dylan, they came after the kids, and that's when people get mad. Obviously, thank God. I mean, if we don't get mad at child sex, then what do we have left?
Yeah. I mean, my brother is gay, and he has been kind of like a soft liberal his whole life.
Hold on. Your brother's gay?
Yes. And my brother will come on, usually on Family Fridays. My brother will actually be here, and we'll talk to him about these issues. And he voted Republican for the first time in his life because he doesn't want to be associated with what the left has become. And he went to Pride rally the other day. He said, "I used to go to these Pride rallies, and it was all these very attractive gay men. It was all about like being good looking." He said he was in Boston the other day. He said they just delighted, they reveled in being unattractive and being as disgusting as possible. It's almost as if like these postmodernists hate beauty. They want to tear down these standards because their postmodernism is, in a way, beauty is truth, right? Something that we all seek out, right? And so in this modern environment of postmodernism that the left is waging war on truth, beauty being attached to truth, they have to destroy it, which is why when you go to these pride rallies now, you see the most disgusting blobs you've ever seen in your entire life. Anyways, I want to get on
They're
the
not
gay
gay,
bashing.
though. They're not gay. The trans movement is Marxist, and Marxists, by their very definition, are lazy. What was Karl Marx? He never had a job. He sat wallowing in his father's money. They stay in their parents' basements. That's their culture. Their culture is being ugly, fat, lazy pieces of shit, and they don't have an identity, and they hate that they're white. So they see black people being put on a pedestal, and they see my minorities, and then they go, "I can't become black. You get in trouble if you wear blackface." So I'm trans. And then they go to gay pride things and with all their Marxist ugliness. And the gays are like, "What are you doing?" Like, when you look at people who have had actual homosexual sex and the ones who identify as, non-gender conforming, the lines are going like this. They're not having actual gay sex. LG needs to batten the hatches and lock the door because the brand is being ruined by ugly, fat perverts.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, you don't get sound bites like that anywhere else other than Gavin's own show, which I highly recommend as well. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe if you're enjoying the content that you're watching so far. I'm going to switch topics again. I got you for about 10, 15 more minutes, Gavin. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about current events in regards to the battle between Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. And, less interesting to me is the actual fight between these two men, the war of words that's going on in the media, so much noise. But the actual battle that's going on between Trump supporters and DeSantis supporters, which has just gotten really ugly. I don't know if I don't see that you're on social media anymore, so maybe you don't see it, but I mean, it's gotten pretty nasty. And I wonder what you think about the conflict between these two men, who in my mind really have so much in common and should be on the same side. And, I understand you compete when you're running for president, you're going to, battle with the other guy. But I mean, it seems as if the conservative movement, or at least the right in general, I mean, I'm a libertarian and we eat each other all the time. There's no libertarian movement basically at all anymore. But I see the conservative movement and the right in general sort of making a lot of the same mistakes that libertarians made and not sort of creating this cohesive movement. And basically, I see conservatives treating their friends the same way that they treat their enemies, which is not a recipe for success. I mean, the election's only a year away, Gavin, and it seems as if the conservatives or the right can't seem to get its act together. Where are we at right now? What do you kind of see between these two opposing forces with Trump and DeSantis? Your thoughts?
I'm totally naive with these kind of things. And I go, oh, they're just, roughhousing. And then if Trump is in the lead, DeSantis will endorse him. And if DeSantis is in the lead, Trump will endorse him. Like back when I was single, I would never cock block. But the way I saw it is it's like two speedboats going next to each other. And as you talk to her, she's not the speedboat. You two guys are the speedboat. As you talk to her, it becomes clear which one she prefers. And when she giggles and touches her hair or touches the other guy on the shoulder or something, it's pretty clear this guy's winning. So when it gets to that, the other speedboat just goes, and that's how you should pick up chicks when you're with friends. And I kind of feel like DeSantis and Trump, I'm praying that they do that with America. They're the two speedboats. They might bonk into each other a little bit, but I was hoping, and I'm still praying, that when one of them is in the lead, which will pretty likely be Trump, then DeSantis will go, all right, I endorse Trump. Meow. And there's no cock blocking involved. But if they keep smashing into each other, no one's getting laid, and the votes are going to stink. So I hope they understand that. I'm so envious of the left. They have this unity. Actually, they have it to a fault. They are so unified. They'll bring in pedophiles and serial rapists just in the name of having a cohesive unit. We, on the other hand, are like, you farted, you're dead. Like, I see it in Proud Boys too. There'll be some dumb feud that will split an entire state chapters based on one guy lying about being an embalmer or something. That's an actual beef. I'm not joking. So I need unity. As far as I'm concerned, and I've said this a million times, I'm a hippie, man. Like, if you want less government and stronger borders, you're with me. Like Steven Crowder, this new right, the way they all hate each other. I love them all. I love Nick Fuentes. I love Reuters. I love Crowder. I love Elijah Schaffer, Sav, uh, you know, John Doyle. I'm in bed with all of them because we generally want the same thing. Now, when we win, then we can afford to sort of be petty and hate each other, but we're losing right now. It's like when I was in high school, there was like 2 skinheads, 3 punks, 1 mod, and a goth. We're supposed to hate each other on the streets, but there were so few freaks at my high school that we became a cohesive unit because we were the only weirdos in school. That's the way the right should be. We can't afford to just to start backstabbing each other. We literally cannot afford it.
I want to talk to you about something else, Gavin. Today is Family Friday on the show. That's when I bring my wife here, who's with me, to talk about issues. We talk about more girly stuff. It's a little bit lighter, and we just kind of talk about family issues, and people really enjoy tuning in and talking about their own families and all that stuff. And that's actually a pretty common theme in a lot of your content, is you talk about your family and how important it is. I heard you and Anthony Cumia talking the other day about how he's never, gotten married or had kids. Well, he's gotten married, I think, but he hasn't had children. And you were just talking about, how you felt like you had started your family a little bit late. I'm starting my family a little bit later. It took a while to find a good woman. It is harder and harder these days to find a good woman out there, Gavin, I can imagine. I wonder, for our audience members, a lot of the guys who tune into my show, especially on Family Friday, really jealous of my relationship because I managed to find that unicorn. But do you have any advice for these young guys, these conservative males? Because I tell you, they get on Tinder, and at least in the last election, it was swipe left if you voted for Donald Trump. Most of these women these days, Gavin, they're leftist, right? I just found the one redheaded libertarian chick that was single that wanted to marry me, thank God. But I mean, there's not a lot of prospects for these young conservative or libertarian men out there to find a good woman. I mean, and you're like, hey, your advice is get married young. Like, don't wait to have kids until you get older. But I mean, it's hard out there for a pimp, Gavin. Any advice for these guys?
Yeah, lie. All's fair in love and war. So don't tell them you're MAGA. Don't put MAGA in your bio. And when you're dating her, avoid politics. Women in politics, generally, don't go. It's like, I don't know anything about football. Imagine I was obsessed and I said, if you like the Dallas Cowboys, swipe left. I'm not interested. It's not my area of expertise. They don't belong in that world. So you hang out with her, you avoid politics, you don't say you're MAGA, you hide your red MAGA, and then slowly you say, that's funny. The economy was doing a lot better with Trump. Maybe he was pretty good for business. I mean, he was a terrible guy, but maybe he was good for business. And then you slowly feed them red pills. You sprinkle, it's like rohypnol. You roofie their drink with red pills. But you got to be careful because women are so agreeable. I've noticed that you're like, yeah, black crime is an issue. And the next thing you know, they walk into the living room in a Klansman uniform and you're like, whoa. No. I meant it disproportionate. Not all. They tend to get too red pills. It's like taming a wild stallion. You got to sort of slowly approach the horse because they'll start a stampede.
That's Gavin McInnes' advice there. So lie.
Yeah, lie, and also quit porn. Stop masturbating. It's really bad for you. It keeps you on the couch. It's great. It's terrible for marriage because you have a plan B. You should only get your water from one tap, and if that tap closes off, then you die of dehydration. Like if my wife sends me to the couch because we have a fight, my penis is gonna start. So I don't want to get on the couch. So we work on our problems and we work on our relationship, and we have sex a lot that bonds us. And with young men, they're just playing video games for unfathomable amounts of time, like 7 hours, 8 hours in a row. It's pathetic. Then they sleep all day. Get away from the console, get away from the porn, and get out there and start talking to them.
Gavin, like the war of the sexes, kind of like the conflict arises because men want to be with a lot of girls and girls want to be with one man. And we sort of, as guys, compromise. We say, all right, we're going to get married and we'll stick with our one woman. So like if a guy gets married young and hasn't been with a lot of women, there's going to be that kind of pressure that they're going to feel. Because even when you're married, you still kind of like, you see other women, you're like, oh, she's hot. I kind of wish I could get with her. But you can't, right? So, I mean, is it a good idea for a young guy to like settle down early and marry one woman early? Or don't you think that there's like that conflict that'll always feel is like, oh, was I missing something, right? Like, could that be a cause of divorce? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I've had sex with about 350 women. I was the singer of a band when I was 17. And then after being the singers of all these bands, which is just, that's a license to print pussy. And then I started Vice. I was the only, like, me and the other guys were the only 20-somethings who had our own business and were like making money and going out. So that was also an avalanche of pussy. Then I come to New York City where we're providing all these jobs, and everyone in New York City wants to be documented, right? Because this is their moment in the sun. They want to be put on paper. So that was endless pussy. And I got to tell you, it's total waste. What a total and utter waste of time. What are you experiencing different types of hits? Like, I don't understand why it's so important to run through mountains of rods. It's a complete waste of time. Now, I understand you want to try it out on a few different ones, and that goes against the Bible, but we're not living in a perfect time. So go ahead, try 5, I don't know, 6. You get the idea.
5 or 6.
Vaginas are basically the same. Ideally, you marry your high school sweetheart. That's the way we're designed, but I that's a pipe dream these days. So you get the idea. Like, I keep saying these 20, dude, in New York, if you're 40, it's not considered late to settle down. But I go, you stole alcohol from your parents' liquor cabinet when you were 14. For 10 years, you partied your ass off, drove drunk, got arrested, had threesomes, did cocaine. You're 24. That's 10 years of Motley Crue decadence. And you're like, I'm not ready to settle down. I still need some more weed. What? 10 years of anything. You get it. Stop.
Sense. Gavin, we'll run up against time here. You've been really generous with your time. We appreciate that very much. Now's your chance to share with our listeners where they can find more about you. I mean, I looked you up on social media. I didn't see it anywhere. Where do you recommend people go to follow your content?
So I'm on Getter, the Island of Misfit Toys for the canceled. I'm on Truth. I'm on Telegram. Censored.tv is on Twitter. And, of course, Censored.tv is the place to go. I'd also like to push our comedy shows. We're doing 2 shows. We're doing a 2-show tour of Florida in July. When is that now? July 14th and 15th. Is that it, Ryan? 15, 16? No. It's 14, 15. Anyway, go to censored.tv/tour, and you can see the remaining dates. We also have Las Vegas coming up in September, and there's the Texas dates. It's all there at censored.tv/tour. But sign up for censored.tv. It's $10 a month. Endless content. I do a show every single day, and there's tons of other shows, and we're acquiring a bunch more. We've got Drew Hernandez and Elijah Schaefer coming on board in a week or so. So it's exciting times over here in the world of cancel. Being canceled used to be a lonely place. Now I feel like I was sent to this prison that no one's in, and now it's busier inside the prison than outside the prison. So come on. Any
chance Elon could bring you back to Twitter, though?
Not a snowball's chance in hell. I have some insiders there, and they told me that what is perceived as the outskirts, the far right, and the far left, are never coming in. Now, I know you said, but Gavin, you're not far right. That doesn't matter. It's how you perceive. So they're going to bring the middle back, but these guys on the far edges will never see the light of day.
Damn, that makes me ashamed of myself that they let me stay there. All right, well, Gavin McInnes is Censored TV. You don't often get to interview your heroes, but today was my day. Gavin, appreciate you, brother. Keep up the good fight, and we love your content. We'll definitely want to have you back sometime again soon.
Thanks, bro. Good times.
Have a good one. That's Gavin McInnes, author of The Death of Cool. Make sure that you click like and subscribe to that channel so you can get more content just like that. The Wake Up America Show to you every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central. What do you think of Gavin McInnes? Damn. Good day. I gotta say, Family Friday, coming back with my lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson, who's going to be joining us here. Didn't you miss Stephanie? Steffi P. And welcome back to the Wake Up America show live. I'm Austin Peterson, your host, here with my lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson. Hey, Steph.
Hello.
How you doing? Good to see you.
I'm doing wonderful.
Thanks for sticking around this morning. We appreciate you very much. I got a little bit of good news there for those who were really struggling to understand the interview. So apparently Gavin recorded his side of the audio. Yeah. So they have got his side of the audio, and the good news is that they're going to stitch it up for us.
Oh my gosh.
Add in his good audio, and then we'll have the full interview for us. So I'll replay it on Monday. We'll have it there for Monday, and then I'll be able to upload the entire clip for those who were tuning in. We're kind of upset about the quality of the microphone. So
That's so cool.
I appreciate Gavin for that.
For doing
Yeah.
lifesaver, seriously.
You weren't able to hear the interview.
Bits and pieces.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
So one of the things they were talking about in there, and I'd love to get your take on this one, was because I was asking Gavin to give some relationship advice, how to pick up girls in a modern age where women tend to be more liberal, right? And so, what do you do when you're on Tinder and it's swipe left if you voted for Trump, right? Because it's
people do that.
a lot of people do that, right? So
Yes.
it's they eliminate you if you're anything to the right of Joseph Stalin. So I really liked Gavin's answer for that one. I don't think you will like it, but I really liked it. And his answer to that was, if you see a girl who says something like swipe left if you vote for Trump, or if she seems kind of liberal, his response to that was, what you should do is just lie.
Pretend that you voted for Trump?
No. Pretend that you didn't vote for Trump.
Or pretend that you didn't vote for Trump.
Just lie, right?
Okay, so lie just to get in her DMs.
Just to get in her DMs and to start the conversation and go ahead, because he says that all's fair in love and war.
Love is war.
Yes. And I, in the interview, I talked about you and how, you were a unicorn, and how not all men can expect to find a woman like you, Stephanie, who has an open mind, because you're a true liberal, which is a libertarian, right? Somebody who...
Here's the thing.
Here it comes.
I value honesty so much that it's okay, let's pretend that, I was on a dating app and you swiped on me.
Remember, you're a unicorn, but go
right.
Yes.
And you were oh yeah, I'm a libertarian. I love Ron Paul, blah, blah, blah. Then months later, it comes out that you really love Obama and Biden.
Yes.
I would be pissed.
Well, you could be pissed, but here's the thing. So, all right. So without getting, we're going to have to get personal here. All right. This is why you watch the show on Fridays, right? Here we go.
Yes.
Your ex.
Yes, my ex.
He led you down a lot of paths.
Yes, the libertarian path in particular. He's the reason I'm a libertarian. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, right, he kind of led you down a path.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he didn't tell me he was something he wasn't.
No.
He was very open about it.
You started one way at the beginning of the relationship, and then you ended in a different place.
I voted for Obama at the beginning of the relationship, and then he showed me Alex Jones videos.
Right. And then when you and I started dating, you were one way. You were Alex Jones.
Yeah.
And now you tend to be a little bit more skeptical of things.
Conspiracy theories. Exactly.
Right, to an extent.
But it's it's not as if somebody told me they were one way and then they were a different way. It's okay to change, but it's not okay to be dishonest.
Okay. Well, I think it's okay because mostly women aren't really into politics anyway, right? So it's not it's really the end all be all. There are more important things. Right. And so, I mean, saying something like swipe left if you voted for MAGA, if you voted for Trump or whatever.
Right.
That's stupid. Right. I think you can ignore that.
It's would you really want to be with a woman who's opposite of your values?
Yeah.
Would you really want to swipe on her?
Well, so you
were
not the same values as your ex-boyfriend, and you were not the same values as me. I imparted my values onto you.
Your values, well, we were both libertarian, you and I.
Right, but different kinds of libertarians.
Right, and I'm still not your kind of libertarian completely.
But I'm imparting my values onto you, right?
Yes, you are.
Right, just like your ex-boyfriend imparted his values onto you.
Yes.
So what Gavin was saying in this interview here is that a man should impart his values onto his woman.
And so in hopes that she comes to his side, is that kind of what he's hoping for?
Because they do.
Conversion?
Because politics just aren't as important for women.
Yeah.
It's just not. I mean, for a lot of women, it's important to them, okay?
Right, I don't think I could be in a relationship with somebody who's not at least somewhat libertarian.
Sure. Yes, but that's the thing. That's why you're a unicorn. Most women aren't libertarians, Stephanie. Most women are
Right.
hardcore, steel jackbooted
Say that I were,
authoritarians.
let's say that I were a progressive liberal woman.
Right,
I
right.
probably would want my significant other to be the same.
Right, right.
That would be helpful to have similar values.
Right, right. But
Yeah.
the thing is that like the women aren't happy when they date those men because those men are vaginas.
They're beta males.
They're
Exactly.
soy boys, right? It was like
Right.
that woman we were showing that video, remember, where she was complaining about how she wanted a traditional man, but that like held the door for her and did all these kinds of things.
Yes.
But but the problem is that all of those men were conservative men.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like she wanted a conservative guy, but yet she wanted him to be progressive in other ways. She wanted both.
Which
Yes.
is in essence, if you're really thinking about it, like that is a libertarian to an extent, right?
Mhm.
Somebody who is open-minded, who's tolerant, like myself. Like I'm fine with gay marriage, right? I have a tolerant social views. I'm pro-immigration and all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But on the fiscal issues and things like that, I don't believe that we should be redistributing wealth. I don't believe that we should have high taxes. I don't think the government should tell us what to do with guns or anything like that, right? So I'm conservative on the fiscal issues and on the constitutional issues. But on the social issues, it's a free market in that just as much, right?
Yeah.
That's libertarianism in a broad spectrum kind of a way, right? But what most women are saying when they say they want progressive views is what they really want is they want authoritarian views, right? They want a government that takes from the rich and gives to the poor and takes our guns and
Right.
only the cops can have guns. And, that's authoritarianism.
Right.
And it makes sense, from a biological perspective. Women desire safety more than they desire freedom because, they if they don't have a man to protect them, they want the government to do that job. And that makes total sense. When men are not in the household and men leave their wives, they want security. They turn to the government for security, right? When they don't have families or they don't have a man to protect them, they turn to the government to play the role of father or husband, right?
So, yeah, I'd be interested to see how someone like Gavin could change a woman like that. Would he show her the way?
I did it all the time. So I never lied, but it wasn't hard for me to impart my views onto my partner, right? Because
you have that personality.
Well, most men have
a personality that like commands respect from people.
Well, I wouldn't say that I am just like you're a unicorn in a way. I'm also not like a normal, like
no.
You would not
Right.
say like put Austin as like the mean or the norm. And that's not to say I'm like better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm better or I'm worse. I'm just like I've got a very different mindset
Yes,
than most
you do.
people.
Yes,
and
you do.
I operate on a
Yes.
different level.
Yeah.
And so do you, because most women are not like you, Stephanie. They're not libertarian. They don't believe in libertarian values.
No.
They don't believe in free markets, and they don't believe in gun, they believe in gun control, and they believe in taxes, and they believe in public schools, and they believe in all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they'd probably rather have a good man there to protect them. If he has different values than her, it's probably more important to have a good man, because at the end of the day, who gives a shit about your stupid views on gun control or on taxation? It's much better to have a good husband who's there he'll take care of you.
For sure.
Right.
I mean, you should be able to put those things aside. I know a lot of people who are married to somebody who has a complete opposite political view, and they're totally happy.
Camelia's really triggered by this, by the way. She says persuading someone else to your views is not even the same as lying about them. Well,
right, persuasion is very different.
It's a lie by omission. I don't tell you my views, right?
So she's triggered by you. Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. Well, she's triggered by Gavin's the one who said it, because he says all's fair in love and war.
Yeah.
And to an extent that's true, right? The laws of war also apply to the laws of love.
Here's the thing. I can say,
you can be triggered all you want.
We're all manipulative in relationships in the beginning. Look at us women. We look really pretty when we're first starting to date somebody. We wear all this makeup.
You lie every day.
And then it's like once you get to know the person, you start to take the makeup off. Your hair looks a little messy. There's the true you.
Do you think that wearing makeup is lying?
It's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
It's not showing your true self.
It is true, right? So it is an extent. It is deception.
Yeah.
It is.
Especially if you wear makeup to bed,
Some people do that.
Oh, yeah.
Or makeup to bed.
Oh, absolutely.
The nice thing about being a man is that, we are beautiful and we don't require a single bit of makeup. I feel bad for women because they've got to cover it all up, because there's just you start to crinkle it up pretty fast early on in your lives.
Society made us need to lie.
Yeah.
in order to have a social circle and to have a partner.
Think, again, and I've said this before to a certain extent, I feel bad for women because they have their biological desires and their drives, and they have the society sort of indoctrinates them to tell them that that's not what they want and that they should want something else. Okay, society doesn't really do that to men. They're starting to do that to a certain extent, where they say, you should be you should be attracted to a man, with a penis because
Yeah,
he
what's it
says
tell
he's a
me I
woman.
want? What do I want?
To get a job, to get a career, to
Oh, I
have a
want to get a
to have a
career.
powerful career, and to make lots of money, and to get a good education, and to delay motherhood, and to maybe even not get married, and to go out to the bars every weekend and party, and be a boss bitch, and to tell other men what to do, and to be a man, and to act like a man, to talk like a man, to treat your family like you're the man of the household, and to not be subservient to your man in any way.
Right, that's the new generation. Yeah.
The generation has been going on since the 1960s,
Yeah.
right? And
so I feel like I have a foot in the last generation and a foot in this new generation where my mom, she was a housewife. So it's like I know that type of lifestyle,
Yes.
and that type of lifestyle seems comforting to me.
Matt Unruh says, I tell my wife she looks great without makeup, and when she tells me no, I say no one asked you.
Oh.
Very funny.
Well, does she want him to say she looks horrible?
But wait a minute.
She wants?
Will you give me my point here? Like, will you give me my point here that you have a biological desire to want to get married, to have a man, to have a family, and you have these innate drives and urges that society and college and academia and media tells you to put that aside. Go be a boss bitch. Go work in a plant and be a boss and be an administrator. That's a societal indoctrination that's telling you put aside your biological desires, put aside your feminine urges, put on a pantsuit and go be Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, absolutely. I can really see that, especially from the role models in society today. I'm trying to remember myself as a young child, and I had so many baby dolls that I took care of. I was planning to be the best mother ever. So that was kind of ingrained in me, from a young age. But also as a small child, I ran my own grocery store. I had my own restaurant in Playland as a child. So it's like I was a businesswoman, and I also took care of my babies at the end of the day when I was a little girl.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so society kind of tells you ladies that, you can have it all and you've got to have it all.
Yeah.
But what happens is that a lot of these women, they end up 45 years old, childless with cats, and they're unhappy because they look back and it's too late for them to start a family. It's too late for them to
We were just watching the Jewish matchmaking show yesterday. It is so fun. And there was a 44-year-old woman on there.
And she was lucky that she still was fertile.
She still has her fertility.
Right.
Yes.
But that was a concern because she realized that she had been partying and drinking and smoking. And she was talking about how the alcohol, she has to cut back on the alcohol and all this kind of stuff. I mean, she had polluted herself to a large extent. I mean, which, here's the thing, makes it really hard for a man to want her.
Yeah.
Because why would a man want someone like that?
Yeah.
When he could go for somebody half her age?
Right.
So here's the thing. So I feel bad for women because they're put in that situation where it puts them, their society sets you up to be unhappy.
Yeah.
Society sets you up to be unhappy. And it used to, for a while there, women really had more power than men to an extent. But now that men have kind of figured out the rules to the game, and we have the internet, and there's this red pill community, the manosphere, men have actually started to take the power back because we can sleep around without consequences to a large extent. You can't, right? It's much more dangerous.
It's looked down upon in society.
It's slut shaming and all that stuff. And that does happen to men, but not as much as it happens to women. And so your chastity is prized.
Yeah.
Right. Versus me being a stud, that's praised.
Even though that's not what media and society tells us women.
Right.
We see Britney Spears, all these women, with their cleavage showing all over the television.
Yeah. Go be like Britney Spears.
Oh, we need to be like that in order to get a man. That's what we think.
Right.
But we're duped.
Right. And so, the problem is that there's going to be a reckoning. And everybody's going to have to reckon with old age, and old age doesn't lie. It's either you're fertile or you're not fertile. You can have kids or you can't have kids. And so when you have a situation where men can choose, they'll choose a younger fertile woman if they want to have a family, which they typically do,
Yeah.
right? And so women, when they choose a man, they want a man who is also fertile, who, can be fertile. We can be, I saw Al Pacino had a kid. What was it we were talking about the other day? He's like 83 years old and he just had a
80s. You can. There are some risks, as we
there are
talked
some
about,
risks,
but
it's
it's biologically possible.
right, but it's not the same for women. It's not
Correct.
it's not fair, right? But
biology isn't fair.
It's not fair. I know,
No.
but it's not, you can't change that.
Feeling that in the next 10 to 20 years, we're going to go back to that traditional housewife mentality again. I think us women, we're going to start to miss it, and we're going to go back to what our biology tells us to do. We're going to realize that this is unnatural for us.
Well, I think we're seeing that. I think, you are seeing like a return to traditional values amongst more women.
Trads.
Trads.
It's becoming trendy again.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It is becoming more trendy and stuff like that. And some of that is kind of a hoax from people who just want attention. But it's like that Thomas Sowell quote: "There are no solutions, only trade-offs."
Yeah.
So there isn't going to be some perfect world where you really can't have it all, because
No.
you just can't. You just not. I don't get to have it all.
Right.
I don't get to have it all. I have to make hard choices sometimes.
Right. Who's to say a man is happy being a provider?
Nobody is going to tell you that as a man that you can have it all. You can't. You've got to make trade-offs in this life. Not all of us are going to become Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and live a billionaire life and get to have yachts and 6 companies and things like that. Now, if you work hard and you study and you train and you apply yourself, and if you're lucky, then you might be able to have a lot.
Yeah.
But nobody gets it all. But society tells women you can have it all.
Yeah.
So they're lying to you, right?
Yes.
And they're lying to you that you can be Britney Spears and do all this kind of stuff, and they just can't, right? It's unrealistic.
Our whole society is built on lies.
Exactly. So,
Yes.
Lie that you voted for Trump. Just kidding. Just kidding.
At the end of the day, just be yourself, because
I don't even think that's a good idea.
You have to be happy with yourself as your own best friend, because that's all you got in the end.
Yeah, I really don't. I really don't think being yourself necessarily is a good idea if you are a terrible loser or an idiot. Because
if you like yourself that way and you're happy being alone that way, sure.
Here's the thing: sometimes you have to fake it until you make it.
Yeah.
Because we're not all born winners. We're not all born, handsome and attractive and charming and able to speak and all this kind of stuff, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've got to go through a learning period where you make mistakes, and you're going to have to go through some bad dates, and you're going to have to realize, okay, I'm not so good at this conversation. I'm going to have to move on. So you can't always be yourself, right? Because sometimes you're not much.
Well, I say be your ideal self, because some people, they don't want to be this fake person. That's cool. If you want to stay dorky, if you want to have, weird interests, stay that way if that makes you happy.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you do want to be somebody else, it's okay to make those changes and fake it till you make it.
Yeah, for sure. We got to give a shout out to Studio 314 for $5 in the tip jar. Thank you. He says $5 for Larry, our new friend.
We have a new friend named Larry.
I think he's kind of a liberal troll. He's coming in. He's a troll. He's kind of trolling.
Oh, Larry is
That's
a
okay.
troll friend.
That's okay. It makes it more fun in the chat. So.
Do you want him to lie about who he is?
No, I want Larry to be himself. Just call yourself whatever you please, right? That's he says, Smalls 5000 says, I joined the stream to see you are a terrible loser and idiot, and immediately thought I was in the mirror again. No, Smalls, no, don't say that about yourself. Oh, very funny.
Wait, what? Is he calling you that?
No. He's joking. He's joking.
Okay.
Chris Morrill says, Dare to be stupid. Yes, that's a great song. You can text the show today with your thoughts at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Yeah, be yourself unless you are stupid, in which case be someone else. One listener texted in and said, Steffi is so close to understanding race relations as a libertarian.
So close. What does that mean?
What if you come to America as an immigrant after any discriminatory laws were in place? Yes, exactly. I immigrated here when I was born, and I assure you that is far after slavery and segregation. So if you had reparations, for example, you would be taking money from people who immigrated here who had absolutely no ancestral ties to slavery or
Yeah, and so here's ultimately the question I want to ask. What are possible solutions that can help this problem?
Mm-hmm.
Are there solutions?
Hot Water 84, she's giving us a solution. She just dropped a couple bucks in the tip jar.
Thank you.
And she also said, Larry, you are one of us.
Wow, we really love Larry
They're
today,
loving
apparently.
Larry today. Yeah.
What was he saying?
All your donations to the stream today go to the I Love Larry Fund.
Yes.
So please do make a generous donation. But we do have to pause. As much fun as this conversation is, Stephanie, we have to say thank you to Corey C, who dropped $5 into the tip jar.
Hello.
Happy Friday. Let's pass the donation hat, baby. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
And the Larry Fund is the Bleed American Battle of Athens documentary fund. So we're getting closer and closer every day to the launch of production for the Bleed American Battle of Athens documentary. In 1946, a group of veterans who had been fighting for democracy overseas realized that they had lost it at home. And when a corrupt local government stole the ballots for their local election, these veterans decided that they weren't going to take it anymore, and they fought back. They grabbed their rifles, they headed down to the jail, they laid siege and fired on the jail, grabbed sticks of dynamite and dynamited that jail open to go grab the ballot box. It turns out that they had actually won that election and thankfully overturned their local government and managed to install clean new officers and elections. In this harrowing tale of American bravery, the very first and only insurrection that was successful in the United States since the American Revolution. Thank you to Matt Unruh for donation of the into the Larry Fund. The Larry Fund.
This man named Larry. We need to meet him.
We appreciate Larry very much. Larry is helping us to raise money. If somebody wouldn't mind doing us a favor at drop the link to the Give Send Go, I would be very grateful. I'm going to do it over on Rumble.
Oh my gosh.
But the Give Send Go link is the best way for you to make a donation because we get 100% of that money for our documentary that we started shooting.
Can I talk about how awesome Give Send Go has been to us?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this woman called us from Give Send Go, and she literally did probably a 5 to 10 minute prayer on voicemail, praying for Austin and his documentary.
Mm-hmm.
She did not leave even one thing out. Like, she dotted her I's, crossed her T's about every single prayer you could possibly give to Austin. So it was so beautiful and touching and cute. And Give Send Go just truly cares about the people on their website.
The funniest part was when she was saying the name of the documentary in her prayer.
Yes.
So when she was talking to Jesus, she was like, "Please, Jesus, let Bleed American, the Battle of Athens documentary be successful."
Yes.
And I'm kind of like, that's some serious stuff there. So I
know.
really appreciated that. But yeah, so
it's the coolest prayer I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you to Robbie Thurman for the $5 in the tip jar. You rock.
Thank you, Robbie. Thank you.
Yeah, it turns out that hiring a director of photography is going to be a very expensive venture for us to do, and we've raised $2,175 so far for the documentary.
Very cool.
But we've got a little bit less than $8,000 left to go, and we've got a month to do it. So,
oh boy,
do us a favor: visit givesendgo.com/bleedamerican and make a generous donation today to the documentary to help us to spread the message of freedom, because that's what this is all about. And we're really excited. We think you'll really love the documentary, and we'd be happy to have you be a part of it. And everybody who makes a donation to the documentary gets their name in the credits, so you get to see your name at the title credits at the very end of the film. So
that's right.
No matter how much you donate,
your name will be ingrained in history.
Exactly. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. On the show, we'd love to hear your thoughts today on the news of the day. One listener texted in, says that affirmative action has been in effect for 2 generations, so it's either worked and is now unneeded, or it will never work. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
Another listener texted in with a tweet from Steve Dace saying, RFK Jr. is a lifelong Democrat. What did you expect? On the issues, he is basically where Democrats were 20 years ago or more, but he's a Democrat nonetheless.
It's right. The party Democrat is going to Democrat.
Right. Yes. He says he's a liberal, but he's also a patriot and not a nihilist. That's interesting.
Can I say what I think one of the possible solutions is?
You can briefly. I have to acknowledge Studio 314 donating $5 to the stream. Thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are showering us with cash.
Yeah, thank you. Make it rain.
Making it rain.
Yep.
All right. So what do you think the solution is to this?
Okay. Well, I was a social worker in the inner city for 7 years of my career. And so I worked one-on-one with individuals in the Black community. And I really think that that is one of the solutions, is to just impact people on an individual level, teach them coping skills, give them resources, show them respect. And I think that'll go a long way. Then they will teach each other and spread it.
Yeah, that sounds like a typical girl kind of like hippie.
It's a libertarian way. We believe that individuals impact individuals, and that's how we should do things.
Yeah, to an extent, right?
Because the government is clearly not effective.
Right. And we are, which is why, people might want to go to therapy, but we'll get there in a moment. It's time for us to move on to a different topic, Stephanie.
Okay,
and I don't want to
yes.
talk about therapy just yet.
Okay.
We may not get there, but if
All
we
right.
do, we'll get there when we get there. Maria just dropped $10
Oh,
in
Maria, thank
to
you.
the Larry Fund. Thank you.
Gosh, wow. What is Larry saying? Is he saying a lot of things?
He's trolling him good. He's saying a bunch of stuff. I don't know. He's saying like this is a Boogaloo Boys stream or something like that.
Oh, well, we're not wearing tropical shirts exactly.
No.
I am wearing flowers on my dress.
Yes, but I don't know. I guess that's supposed to be a bad thing or something like that. I don't know. So
maybe he's getting Boogaloo confused with Proud Boys like I did.
There's so many different like gangs these days, so it's like I have no idea.
Well, Larry, we love you. Keep speaking your truth.
Yes. Thanks, guys, for the donations, by the way, to help us to shoot this documentary. We appreciate it very much.
Yes.
We're going to talk now about something a little bit differently.
I think my mom's excited about this topic.
Yes, things that you should buy that increase your quality of life. Now, Stephanie, you and me, we be shopping. We like to shop.
Yes, retail therapy is a thing.
Yes, and I'm one of those, as I am a unicorn, one of the things that I enjoy as a man is shopping. I actually like shopping. So
he goes to TJ Maxx because he wants to.
Well, I go to TJ Maxx if I want to because I also like to show off my cool Boogaloo Boy shirts. I love I also like to wear cool shirts. Actually, the shirt I'm wearing right today is from AP for Liberty shop.
Yes.
It's the Ron Swanson shirt that says, "History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything after that was a mistake." So let me kind of stand up. You can see it there.
So I guess he thinks affirmative action was a mistake.
He was, yeah. He's not an affirmative action guy. Here's the $3 I owe Dennis. Says Studio 314. Another $3. Thank you.
Thank you. He owes someone money.
It's because of the troll toll. So,
oh my gosh.
So Dennis, he's helping us. Larry is helping us to raise money this morning. So. By being as like annoying and trolly as possible. But
Larry must be one of us. I have a feeling he's a secret agent.
Yes. So anyways, I love to shop because I like to wear cool clothes on the Wake Up America show. It's because it just makes the show more fun and it looks cool, right? But they don't necessarily increase my quality of life. They increase our listeners, viewers' quality of life, but because they get to see me. But
do you remember the question you asked me at a restaurant recently? You said if you could have like unlimited anything or collect something, what would you collect? And the only thing I could think of was clothes.
Yes.
Because I was like, everything else, it doesn't really mean much to me.
Well, here's the thing. So of this list, I don't agree with some of the things on this list. And I know you and I definitely are not going to agree with number one. We'll agree with each other, but not with this list.
Okay.
The number one item that they say increases your quality of life is a smart thermostat.
Oh, gosh.
It says that it's a game changer for maintaining a comfortable living environment. It has intelligent features like learning your preferences and adjusting temperatures, ensuring optimal comfort without wasting energy. It says upgrade to a smart thermostat and experience the convenience and cost savings it brings.
Okay, wait.
Stephanie, you and I, we are not about the smart thermostats. Why?
I have different preferences than you.
Yes.
How can it accommodate me and accommodate you at the same time? I think it would be completely confused and blow up. It would get really cold for you and really hot for me. We would not be happy.
We set it at 68 and we forget it. And you freeze a little bit and I stay nice and comfortable.
Yes, we have a lot of blankets.
Because I burn a lot of energy. And yeah, there's blankets everywhere.
Yes.
But why don't we want a smart thermostat?
Because there was a man who actually had his house shut down by Amazon.
Yeah.
Because he had a smart house and apparently he said something racist that an Amazon driver heard.
Yeah, an Amazon driver reported that he heard something racist coming from the Ring doorbell. Amazon shut their house down.
Literally, this man could not get into his house.
Could not get into his house. No, he was gone. He was out of the house that day.
Yes.
And so they did an investigation. They found that he actually didn't do anything wrong, but they shut down his entire system.
That's right.
So there isn't any way in hell that I will ever allow our house to be able to turn on or off remotely. That's why no smart house for us. Andy Opperman says he's got to get in on the Larry the Liberal bandwagon. He just dropped us $10. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that today. You guys are really making our day.
This is contagious.
The Larry Fund today is definitely getting big. We appreciate that very much, but we're not doing any.
Larry comes back.
Exactly. So Anna Bananarama, I think she thought that this was going to be a boring topic, but because of the smart thermostat thing, I think she likes it now.
Oh, this is not boring.
Anna Bananarama, she's a very angry anarchist. She's been joining us lately. But
she was holding her tongue the other day.
Was she?
Yes.
Yes.
When you were talking about divorce.
Oh yeah.
She was very upset.
She's
stuck around.
She's got some anger issues, but we're working on it. Yeah. And we're glad that you're here, Anna Bananarama. So thank you very much. Robert P. dropped the karate thing. Good to see you, Robert. We've got a nice big audience today on our show. It's great to see big numbers. Definitely about 100 people between the two big streams. So
okay.
All right, so let's talk about the next thing that you should buy to increase your quality of life. Maybe we'll agree with this one: high quality mattress. Investing in high quality mattresses is one of the best decisions you can make for your well-being.
Yes, and we tried to do that. We got a mattress in a box. We were researching forever and ever to find a good king mattress, and it was a little too firm. So then you got a mattress topper. I think a mattress topper is the key to a quality life.
If it hadn't been for the mattress topper, I would have probably gone and started sleeping on the twin bed in like the guest room, because it was way too hard, honestly. I don't know about you, but I guess I realized that I like a very soft mattress.
Yeah,
because
depends on your body and how you sleep.
I bought the mattress topper. And it's better.
And it had a lavender scent.
Yes, it's very
nice.
Yeah, but high quality mattress, because you're going to sleep on it for 10 years. So spend the money. Yep. You know what I mean?
You do need a good mattress because your back care is very important.
This is one that I've been telling you I cannot travel without them anymore. And I love them. And I will never not have these anymore. Noise canceling headphones.
Oh, yeah. You got into those. I don't have any yet.
Dude, it's not even just like when you're on the airplane. There's so much ambient noise when you're on the airplane, you know, kids screaming and crying, but there's the airplane itself and all that kind of stuff, that when you're on the airplane, it's like, sometimes I just don't even listen to music or anything. I just have the headphones on and it cancels out. Oh God, it's so good. But when you're walking through the airport itself, the airport itself is very loud.
Yeah.
Just the airport, because there's the planes outside, and then there's people indoors, and there's hubbub and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, sensory overload.
Dude. Noise canceling headphones if you have a loud office, but that is one of the investments, and you have to spend at least like $200 to get a good pair of noise canceling headphones.
That could actually be helpful for me when I'm typing my notes in the living room and you're like doing stuff. I should probably wear some so that I can focus.
Just wear mine. Yeah. You have to charge them, but charge them up, and then you can use mine. Use mine anytime you like. Air purifiers.
We've never owned one. I know some people do. I don't know. I guess I don't know the benefit of it.
I had one.
Breathing better? That would be good, because I do have asthma problems.
Yeah, it could be mold and things like that. Air purifiers. Yeah. I had one for a little while in the house, that little house that we lived in and stuff, because it was really dusty, and it helped a lot. So that's one thing that people say is a quality of life improvement. So
yeah, breathing is very important. I am on an inhaler, so if that could help me.
Matt Unruh says, my Pixel buds are so great, especially for mowing. Turns the loud into a low word. Yeah, mowing is another thing my noise canceling headphones are very good for. But I can't wear the in-ear ones. I have to wear over the ear ones.
Yeah, the in-ear ones, I have those for when I do my therapy, and it literally makes my voice sound muffled, and it makes me sound like I'm like in a box, and it's very distracting.
Yeah, they fall out of my ears.
Yeah,
so because I don't know, maybe I just don't clean my ears enough.
They actually have different size ear thingies nowadays. They have small, medium, and large. I do the really small ones because I have very small ear canals.
Katie556 says that I have noise canceling headphones at work because I sit next to two guys that would talk 20 decibels louder when they were on a phone call. God, can you imagine?
Oh, yeah. Workplace conversations are very stressful to people.
Yeah, to have to listen to your workplace conversations. Katie556, that sounds really bad. Smalls 5000 says, inhaler gang. That's funny.
Yay for inhalers.
Maria is asking, do you guys have the Canadian smoke air?
My mom does.
She does. That's in Michigan.
She came from Michigan, and she said you can't even show your skin. You have to cover up your entire body because of the air quality.
That's wild.
It could harm you.
Yikes.
Yes.
We don't have that here in mid-Missouri, although they do have it in Nemo, northeast Missouri. So
Yeah, we saw a little bit in St. Louis. We were seeing some kind of like dust in the air. So I don't know. Maybe there's some pollution out that way.
Maybe. All right. So we already did air purifier. What's another thing that can improve your quality of life? Instant Pot.
Oh, we don't have one of those.
Yes, we
We
do.
do have a crock pot,
It's the same
but
thing.
not an no. Instant Pot is fast.
Is it?
Yes, it's like the air fryer.
Well, it combines the functions of a pressure cooker, slow cooker, rice cooker, steamer, and more into a single device.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I just don't have room. I mean, seriously, our
We've got a
counter
lot
is
of-
taken up with every single type of gadget.
Yeah.
No more room.
Okay, there you go. Instant Pot. Okay,
Yeah.
multifunctional kitchen appliance. So, all right. I thought it was the same thing as a crock pot, but all right. Well,
It is. I think it's just like a sped up crock pot.
we have an air fryer. We have a crock pot. We have a waffle maker. We have sandwich irons.
You have sandwich iron.
But we don't have an Instant Pot.
No.
Ninja Pot with steam something says better, says Mr. UC.
I saw a Ninja ice cream maker at the store the other day and I really wanted it. You can make anything into ice cream.
You know what I watched the other day that I kind of wanted to do was it was an old 1800s ice cream recipe. And it was apparently so real ice cream apparently is a custard. So
Okay.
you use eggs, and you're supposed to take eggs and you put the cream and the eggs on the oven or on the stovetop or what have you, and you kind of like you don't boil it, but you just kind of like steam it or something like that. The milk with the eggs, you steam it to a certain temperature, and then you freeze that and turn that in and add vanilla and the flavorings and stuff. So there's like 5 or 6 ingredients, all right, and so it's like a custard. Have you ever had custard?
I probably have, not recently. I remember in science class, we made ice cream from scratch using ice cubes and some sort of a powder, and you had to like rub it together like vigorously.
Yeah.
And it like turned into ice cream.
Well, like the person was explaining that like modern ice cream today is not ice cream as it was originally intended because
Probably not.
it has so many artificial flavors and things that they introduce into it, and it doesn't have like eggs like a typical ice cream should. So if you've never had custard, I mean, I'm kind of sad that they don't have an Andy's custard, but
I've been to Andy's custard. Okay, so I have had custard.
We're gonna take aren't we gonna take your mom to the lake or something this weekend? So we're gonna go to the Lake of the Ozarks.
That's right.
They have an Andy's frozen custard down there at the lake. So let's take your mom and you and let's go get frozen custard.
That's right.
And then maybe sometime we can try and make our own because that'd be kind of fun. But
I would love it.
Yeah.
And it's also a historical thing. I mean, a lot of the founding fathers loved ice cream.
Yes,
Ice cream has been a part of the White House.
And
Calvin Coolidge loved ice cream.
I'm pretty sure that like ice cream has been around in some form or another for thousands of years because it was Emperor Nero. But did you hear about what they used to do? Like they would go and they would like actually get ice from the mountains. And bring the ice back.
I vaguely remember something about this.
Where's my ChatGPT?
I bet there was a lot of ice cream after the Ice Age.
Yes.
Woof. Look at all that ice.
How old is ice cream? What was the earliest form? Question mark. Thank God for ChatGPT. In China, around 200 BC, a frozen mixture of milk and rice was packed in snow to create a frozen treat.
Oh, was that rice pudding?
I'm not sure. So the early version of ice cream was made using a mixture of milk, rice, and sometimes fruit, and then placed in metal containers and buried in a mixture of snow and saltpeter, a compound used for its freezing properties. In Persia, a similar frozen dessert known as sherbet was popular. It consisted of grape juice concentrate mixed with vermicelli, saffron, and other flavorings. It was
saffron and ice cream?
Saffron and
that would be
juice.
A little bit bizarre.
Oh, it sounds kind of good, but it was called sherb.
I bet that became sherbet.
I bet it did too.
Because sherbet is kind of fruity.
Yeah, I was right about Emperor Nero, by the way. During the time of the Roman Empire, the Roman Emperor Nero is said to have enjoyed a dessert made with snow or ice, flavored with fruit and honey.
It's like a snow cone.
Yeah, the snow or ice was obtained from mountains and stored in special ice houses. So it wasn't exactly the same as the ice cream that we know today. It was in the 17th century that ice cream, so 1600s, that it started to gain popularity in Europe. And by the 18th century, the 1700s, it became widely available to the public. So it's difficult to pinpoint an exact age for ice cream. It's safe to say it's been enjoyed in various forms for well over 1,000 years. What is the difference between
I love ice cream
and custard. Gotta love artificial
I love ice
intelligence here.
cream.
Cookies and cream, says Maria Krabs. Hell yeah, that's my
We
favorite
have
too.
some from Sam's Club.
Yeah, we get
Yes.
we get like the gallon that's like $6. So
A
good.
birthday party ice cream bucket.
Yes. So the difference between ice cream and custard is their base ingredients, fat content, and the way that they are cooked. So there you go. So cooking method. Ice cream is milk, cream, sugar, and other flavorings. Custard is made with a base of milk or cream, egg yolks, sugar, and flavorings. So the egg yolks give the custard its creamy and rich texture. There you go. That's the difference. So the eggs, that's what I had no idea. I didn't know we were going to get into ice cream today, but there you go.
I know. So get a Instapot. There you go.
Instapot. Not sure
Because
about
that'll help you make ice cream.
If you're just tuning in the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're glad to have you here. Oh, Katie556 says Culver's has custard. So we know somebody here likes custard.
Wait, my mother loves Culver's.
Yeah, the Culver's is good, but I haven't had their ice cream yet. So I love ice cream. It does not love me, says Smalls 5000. Yeah.
Are you lactose intolerant?
They might be. They might be.
Uh-oh.
Well, speaking of tasty treats, I want to take a real quick moment to talk about our friend John Burke and his delicious Shell Shock CBD products. Some chocolate CBD and some other delicious items that you can find at his store at shellshockcbd.com. He's got Delta 8 products, of course, which are psychoactive, which will make you feel very silly and fun and funny. For me, it just made me feel very sleepy and very hungry. But they also have some non-psychoactive products like their really great roll-on, roll-out. CBD Freeze roll-on, which when I threw my back out a few weeks ago after karate, I needed this to help tamp down the pain. It felt great. It definitely helped solve my problem.
We actually have a buyer for this roll-on, roll-out. My mom is going to be using it after the show. She said she didn't want to pull her pants down on set today, but she does have some problems with her legs, and she's going to be rolling it on.
So we'll get her.
We will report back.
You get a 10% discount if you use code. If you use code AP4Liberty, that's AP, the number 4, AP4Liberty. And then we have a really quick announcement to make. John Burke's going to be on the show next week.
Oh my gosh, I know. This is quite a surprise.
He's going to be in studio.
I know.
With you.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter, all of a sudden he was like, hey, I'm coming to see AP for Liberty and Stuffy P for Liberty. And I was like, really? When?
Yeah, no, literally he's going to be coming in town next week. So we're going to have actually, this will be the second time we've had 3 people on set.
Wow.
But it's going to be you, me, and John Burke. He'll be here in studio, in the flesh. It's going to be a great show.
I've never met him ever before.
Yeah, I actually haven't either.
Yeah,
I haven't met him in person, but he's a big benefactor for the show. So support those who support you, and that is shellshockcbd.com. Use that code AP4Liberty. And remember, if you don't like the product and it doesn't work for you, you can say, Austin, I hate you forever. I want my money back, and you'll get it all back. All your money will be refunded if it doesn't work as advertised. A money-back guarantee at Shell Shock CBD. That rhymes.
That's good.
ShellShockCBD.com, and use that code AP for Liberty to get yourself a nice, sweet little discount. Okay, let's get back to where we at. What's with all these rhymes? We don't have enough time.
We're turning into rappers.
They're gonna bear me in the body with lime. All right, let's move on.
Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
Yep. Chocolate chip. Katie556.
Yes.
And even that kind of rhymed. All right, Austin, get off of it. All right, shut up. Give me a dime. Standing desks.
Oh no, I hate those.
I do too. This list is bunk.
I made this list. Is it to sell products?
I don't. Maybe I don't.
It's probably
they don't have any links in here, but it says standing desks.
I know people who got those during COVID because it's all trendy.
Sitting at a desk for long periods can have detrimental effects.
It does. Yes, if you don't have good posture.
Yes.
Yeah, because I sit all day long and it's not fun.
Yes. Austin's rapper name, Lil Liberty, Studio 314.
I feel like Steffi P for Liberty sounds like a rapper anyway.
Steffi P for Liberty.
Yeah.
AP for Liberty. That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wait and see.
Yeah, you know me, Steffi P.
Yeah, you know me. Oh my God, this is the gayest show ever. Number seven, e-readers. Not a fan.
What is that?
These are like, Kindles.
Oh, no.
Like that. No.
I need tangible. I am a highlighter person.
Me too. I highlight. I like
touchy-feely.
They have highlighting options and things like that, but no. I like the paper books. We're old.
I also like scented markers, so I have to use scented things.
I don't really like the scented markers.
Yes.
That. I just sit there and sniff it all day and get high. That's why I got Shell Shock CBD. Number 8, fitness trackers. So we do like those.
Well, I wear my Fitbit every day. And honestly, I don't know if I really like use it for anything. I just kind of like to check in with myself.
Yeah, like I was using mine really well, and it did help me lose weight. But I'm kind of like the Titanic. It's a big giant boat. I'm trying to turn it down, but I'm starting to sink and go under the water. And I got 2.5 hours before I start drowning. So I do need to get my fitness tracker back on so I can get that weight back down, because I'm back to where I was.
Yeah.
I've got more muscle than I did a year ago, but I've also got, my fat is back. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, this watch has helped me answer phone calls because I keep my phone on silent because I don't like to be disturbed. But this thing gives me notifications that I want to see. So if you call me, then I can see my watch, and it helps me answer the phone.
No kidding. It's like we'll be making out, and then like I'll feel a buzz in my pants, and I'm like, hey, that's not me. What's that going on? Is this some new toy that Stephanie has introduced into our lovemaking?
Yeah. It's my vibrating watch.
And then she's like, oh, it's my mom. And I'm like, great. Let's talk about her mom right now. I'm trying to get hot. All right. Number 9 on this list of things that you can buy to make yourself happy is a home security system. There you go. We like that.
Yes, I do like home security. I do like cameras a lot too. I think for us, cameras have given us peace of mind. Because it's like, what is security going to do? It's going to make a lot of noise, but if you live in a rural area, who's going to hear it?
Yeah. John Knox had a really good point about the book, where he says that unless you hold it in your hand, whether that's music or books, you don't own it. Lots of books are being changed today by the left. That's true. Like Roald Dahl, James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They rewrite it so it's less offensive.
Yes.
So it's good to have those paper copies of books and CDs and things like that, so you can actually hear it as the artist intended it, or read it as the artist intended it. That's a really good point. Let's give a round of applause to John.
Yes.
That's a big, important point there, bud.
That's right.
Really
you can
good
burn
stuff.
books, but you can't burn electronic copies of files, I guess.
Well, you can't burn my books because you can't get anywhere near them. Home security systems. We like our home security system. It is the Ring system.
Yes. Ring has been good to us.
It has been good to us. There are some problems with it, but because it's on the internet, it's better to have a closed circuit system.
Yeah, which when we moved in, our entire house actually has a closed circuit system, but apparently there was some messy divorce that went on in our house before we got there, and
this was an
they were like
story.
locking each other out of the system or something.
Yeah, they were spying on each other. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have access to the system.
Yeah. The couple who owned it before had a messy divorce.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing the man installed that security system because it was very like jumbled and messed up.
I wonder if it was Steven Crowder.
Well, see, the funny thing is that the Steven Crowder thing, that it was the day that thing with Steven Crowder was going on, we were sitting on the front porch and we have a Ring camera there, and like I was sitting there like being so nice, telling you how beautiful you were and how much I love our life and how much I love our dogs, and I was like the thing, if my Ring camera comes out and the video of our Ring camera comes out, it's not going to be like Steven Crowder where he's like talking rudely to his wife and stuff like that. They're going to be like, oh, Austin's so nice to his wife, he's so sweet.
That's right.
So I need to release our Ring camera footage at some point, stuff like that. Sometimes I do pee off the front porch though, so I got to be careful about that.
Could incriminate you.
It's true. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I never pee facing the camera. Maybe I should.
That's good. Yeah.
All right.
See if Amazon will shut down the house.
Exactly. Amazon, don't look at my penis. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to text the show, you can send us that text.
George and Kelvin pee on that camera. I hope they can't be.
They pee all the time.
Put in jail for that.
They won't get in trouble
on the sex offender list.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, exactly.
No.
Andy Opperman says that Culver's here in Jeff does serve custard. So yeah.
Wow.
So if we want to go to Culver's and get some custard, we can.
I don't think we got to twist my mom's arm on that one.
I don't think so.
Nope.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a brisket for your mama this weekend. I'm very excited to use my smoker.
Got a whole lineup of food.
Oh, we're gonna have
barbecue chicken, salmon.
How long are you in town, Verna? When do you leave? Damn, that's
July
not much
4th.
time. So we got to get to cooking.
4th.
Yeah,
that's right.
It always flies by because we always have so much fun.
And we're going to see your dad.
Yeah, we're going to go see my dad on Saturday. That's going to be a good point. Katie556 says that Ring is owned by Amazon. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, kind of scary.
Boo.
But it's like they can't shut anything down. It's like our cameras are removable, so it's not like
they could shut it down.
Yeah,
they could.
Sure, they'll shut off our camera, but oh well. At least we can still get in our house.
That's true. Number 10, reusable water bottles. You love it. You love it. Yes, you love it.
This one actually calculates how much you drink. It gives you the time that you're supposed to finish your water. but I'm not very good at it. I just use it as a way to carry my water.
Yes. Okay, so that's the list of 10 things that you should own to improve your life.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Water is important, so I guess that would make you happy.
Yeah, we've got a cool water bottle over at AP for Liberty Shop, and this is a good chance for us to remind people that everything in the 4th of July collection right now is on sale, and it's a great chance to go and get things 20% off.
Yeah.
So,
Here's my coin necklace.
yes, and
My smoking George coin.
What is he smoking, Steffi?
He's smoking something healthy.
Yeah, smoking something healthy in my butt, right? Yes. So here's the deal. So that is 20% off. Here's the thing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm not going to get it by 4th of July. Some of the items are kind of like 4th of July centric, like this shirt, right? But I wear this year round. History began on July 4th, 1776.
Every day is Independence Day for libertarians.
Right. Well, here's the thing. So the 20% off discount, take advantage of it, because even though you aren't going to get like your American flag patriotic shoes in like by the 4th of July, they're awesome, and you wear them. You can always wear American flag shoes. So
even when you're in another country.
Yeah, and after the 4th of July, the discount's over. So visit apforlibertyshop.com today. Take advantage of the 20% discount and get you some cool items like the Smokin' George Washington coin, you know, the Ron Swanson shirt, the American flag shoes. Check it out. A lot of the items that are on sale right now aren't necessarily 4th of July related. I just consider them to be patriotic, so I put them in there as a deal for everybody. So visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's AP number 4, apforlibertyshop.com, and you have a good time. Get yourself some sweet merch.
That's right. I have my Wake Up America show sticker on the back of my car, and I'm very proud. Sometimes I feel like people are looking at it, you know, or I think I'm in the spotlight. So the other day there were like some motorcycle people that were like right next to me. I'm like, I bet they know what my sticker means.
So I think we've done it then. We've plugged absolutely everything.
Well, not everything.
Well, what have we missed?
Therapy.
Yes. Well, we've only got like 5 minutes left on the show. I don't think we're going to have time to get to the therapy topic, Stephanie.
But I mean, plugging therapy.
Well, we want to talk about therapy. I mean, I had a clip that I was going to play from Gavin McInnes and Anthony Cumia.
Yes.
Where they were talking about people who get addicted to therapy, and they were talking about therapists, not you.
Yeah.
But some therapists who are not necessarily good people, who need therapy themselves.
Yes.
And I thought it would be a good opportunity for you to kind of like respond to that, maybe some of these criticisms, because while you and I are believers in therapy, not all therapists are like you. So it's hard. So I guess here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Can you choose your therapist on BetterHelp?
Oh my gosh, yes. You can match and rematch. I mean, there's a lot of people that go through multiple therapists before they find the right one. I always tell my clients, I say, finding a therapist is like shoe shopping or dress shopping. Not every shoe is going to fit you, and that's okay. We're all different. And so that's really what you should do, is find a therapist that matches your vibe.
A lot of people, especially men who have guns, worry that if they go to a therapist, that a therapist is going to report them to the police, and the police will come and take their guns away.
Just don't talk about your guns if you don't want people to know. I mean, we really don't ask. We don't say, like, do you have guns? And I'm not a therapist who asked that question. If there is a therapist who does, you can always rematch if you don't like that.
Right. Is there any way, can you like select a therapist for their political beliefs?
You actually can. It's so funny. So BetterHelp now actually has me put on my profile if I'm a conservative leaning therapist or a liberal leaning therapist, but not a libertarian leaning therapist. And I'm kind of bummed at that. So I couldn't put either one of those.
So you only have two choices?
Yeah, either conservative or Democrat.
Binary, right? So
yeah, two-party system.
Do you just not answer that?
I just didn't select that I specialize in either one of those, unfortunately.
But I guess you can select for that if you are a therapist.
Yeah, so if you're like a Trump supporter or something and talking about politics is important to you, then select that you want a conservative therapist.
There you go.
And they even have, if you're like more faith-based, you can select if you want a Christian therapist or a Jewish therapist. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think then that is pretty much it. We've done everything. We've talked.
Also, you have to go to betterhelp.com/AP for Liberty if you want 10% off of therapy. Aha.
A little discount off your therapy.
There you go.
Stephanie, it was a good show.
It was. It went by very fast.
And we're going to get that Gavin McInnes interview all fixed up.
Oh, that'll be so wonderful.
They're going to send us the clip with the fixed audio.
They're so kind. Thank you.
That was very nice.
Yes.
We appreciate Gavin McInnes for that. So if you missed that interview, we'll replay it on Monday. with the fixed audio, and we'll upload it as well to our Rumble and our YouTube account so that you can view it. We're going to have a great weekend. My mother-in-law is in town, so we're going to party.
She's a fun lady.
She likes to have fun. Last night, she took us all out for pizza, which was very nice of her. So
yeah, we got into a nice conversation about relationships.
And I'm sure she's probably got a lot to say about the conversation that Stephanie and I had earlier about men and women and those things and like that. So she
gives her 2 cents. That's where I get it from.
She's probably bursting at the seams right now to tell me how wrong I was.
Well, hopefully she's bursting enough so we can put that roll on, roll out stuff on her. Yeah.
For sure. So we'll keep her, you know what? And if she starts getting a little bit too unruly, we will give her some of that
the CBD
Delta
stuff.
bar. We'll give her some Delta 8 and she will just be on the couch and smiling and laughing, watching our Jewish matchmaker show. No, we love Verna, we love Stephanie, and we love you, our listener and viewers. The Wake Up America show is not just a regular show. We treat our listeners and viewers like family. We get to know you, we become friends, and that's why we are having a big get-together.
Float trip, that's right. On August 12th is our float trip for the Cantina crew. It's at Bass River Resort in Steelville, Missouri. I can drop the link right after the show to our Facebook event page. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get like a big event page because it's like, where does everybody congregate? So just know, August 12th, Bass River Resort. We're also having dinner on that Friday and dinner on August 12th as well. So if you'd like to join us for some meals, you can see us there.
All right. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already on whichever channel that you're watching us on this morning. If sometimes people forget, even our best friends. So click the like button on the stream before you go. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel that you're watching us on, click subscribe, and we will see you on Monday. And then we're taking off Tuesday.
Are you taking off Monday?
So Tuesday is 4th of July.
Okay. I know we were thinking about you taking off, but whatever you'd like to do.
Well, I don't know. Monday or Tuesday, I think we'll probably...
You want to take off on Monday. Everybody vote in the chat.
I think we should take off Tuesday because that's actually the holiday, right?
Yes, it is the holiday.
So then we should do a show on Monday.
Whatever everybody wants.
Yeah. You're going to have to follow me on Twitter to see what's going to happen. AP4 Liberty on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Love you, nerds. P.S. Chat is hot, as says Anna Bananarama. No, you're hot.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what she looks like. We'll just say she's hot.
We have no idea. She does have a photo, I think.
I think she does. She actually kind of looks kind of cute, honestly. Sarah Palacios, too. We got a lot of attractive females in the chat.
That's right.
There we go.
That's right.
That's why we get a lot of viewers, because they're like, look at all these attractive women in here. And look at this attractive woman on the show. She's mine. She's taken. Back off. We'll see you on Monday on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Bye-bye.
It was 1946. A battle was fought, not overseas, but right here on American soil. The Battle of Athens. An intense struggle against election fraud and for the rights promised by our founding fathers. Driven by the Second Amendment, ordinary citizens stood tall and fought back. Help us expose this momentous battle of integrity and bravery. Your support can make a difference. Visit givesendgo.com/bleedamerican and pledge your support, because we believe in the power of truth, the strength of unity, and the spirit of we the people. Let us not forget, we bleed American.
Fire. Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Petersen stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apeforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apeforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit aporlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.